Final Fantasy IV, released in Japan July 19th, 1991, was the first Final Fantasy game to be released on the new Super Nintendo hardware. It would see its release in the United States November 23rd of 1991 as Final Fantasy II, as we never really received the real 2 or 3, and they wanted to keep number continuity to avoid confusion, which would further cause confusion for fans still today. It would receive a direct sequel in 2008 for Japan, and in 2009 for the rest of the world called Final Fantasy IV: The After Years. The Pixel Remaster of Final Fantasy IV was released September 8, 2021 worldwide. Final Fantasy IV is often regarded as the best Final Fantasy game of all time by both fans and critics alike. Through my review, you will see where I stand with this game. Final Fantasy IV brings back in a quasi-form the jobs introduced in Final Fantasy III. I say quasi as the characters each have a job but cannot be switched. Cecil is a Dark Knight and Paladin, Rosa a White Mage, Yang a Monk, Kain the Dragoon, Tella is a Sage, Rydia a Summoner, Edward's a Bard, Edge a Ninja, Hallam and Porum are White and Black Mages respectively, and Cid is... Scholar? The music, as with the 3 Pixel remasters before, is absolutely beautiful. The original SNES release, with its new and improved sound chip, was already great to begin with, but this remaster treatment, just wow. The Prelude, the Red Wings, the Theme of Love, the main theme are just some of the standout tracks from this game. The developers and writers for this game decided to go all out with this story, at least for the time it was released, and it would set the expectation moving forward with not just the Final Fantasy series, but other RPGs even to this day. Looking back on it today, the story to me is pretty meh. If you have not played the game and you would like to avoid spoilers, please jump ahead to the timestamp shown on the screen. Here we go, spoilers in 3, 2, 1. The story is that Cecil, a Dark Knight in the Baron's army, is sent out to retrieve an elemental crystal from a town, and they slaughter the inhabitants to get it. Cecil starts to think, hey, this might not be that paragon of a thing to do, and decides to tell the King of Baron this. The king punishes him by removing him from the lead of the Red Wings and forcing him and his buddy Kain to march and deliver a ring to a nearby town. It ends up being a trap, and it sets off a bomb, killing Rydia's mom and having Cecil take her under his care. We gain some new party members and have some party members die. Kind of. This brings up one of Final Fantasy IV's weakest story points, the fake-outs. Rydia is swallowed by Leviathan, but then comes back. Yang is supposed to have drowned, but comes back mind-controlled, and then dies trying to stop the CPU from exploding and is then found alive again. Hallam and Porum turn to stone forever, and then come back. Cid dies detonating an explosive to seal the underworld, but surprise, still alive. He then collapses numerous times trying to rebuild the airship to the point of death, but nope, still alive each time. Kain betrays us so many times, at what point do you ever trust him? Cecil eventually becomes a paladin. Golbez turns out to be his mind-controlled brother, and they are both from the moon. Their father is the light that helps Cecil become a paladin, and we finally fight and defeat the main bad guy that was controlling Golbez, Zamus, who then becomes Zeramus, and we kill him. It was like they were writing the script for the game like a TV series and tried to cram in every jaw-dropping moment that could happen in the series into this game without stopping to think, hey, are we overutilizing this trope a little too much? I wish they would have found a better method of needing to switch out party members for story purposes instead of just these fake-out deaths. This alone would have made the story much more enjoyable. The Pixel Remaster, while adding back all of the job abilities from the original Japanese release that had been removed in the original United States release, still retains the easy mode of the US release. The 3D remake was super hard, to the point that I had to do a lot of level grinding just to be able to advance. This game, I was pretty much just able to saunter through it. I was excited to get to see these extra abilities and was hoping for that extra challenge, but it never really came. While it may seem I am crapping all over Final Fantasy IV, I don't think it is a bad game. I just don't think it is the best game. I feel like that with Final Fantasy I to me, that Final Fantasy IV was a first Final Fantasy for a lot of people, and that nostalgia will always make it a better game for them and to help hide its flaws. Starting the SNES saga of the Final Fantasy series, this game helped to solidify that Final Fantasy was not going away. I rate the Final Fantasy IV Pixel Remaster an 8.5 out of 10. When people ask about a starting point to get into the Final Fantasy series, if they like the style of retro games, then this is a perfect place to start. However, when it comes to recommending this game to veterans of the series, unless you are a die-hard fan of the art style, or are like me and don't mind owning different versions of the game, then I would suggest sticking with the 3D remake of this title, mainly just for the challenge presented. The voice acting was alright. If you do want to pick up the Pixel Remaster and are not a die-hard fan, I suggest waiting for a sale. Hey, thanks for watching my review video over the Final Fantasy IV Pixel Remaster game. If you'd like, you can check out the other Pixel Remaster reviews I have done, and also if you'd like, you can check out my playthrough of the Final Fantasy IV Pixel Remaster game. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.